So blessed me welcome on one of the top recruits in 2021, now the 10th highest commit all time for UNLV, and now part of the top 15 class at UNLV, Arthur Kaluma. How you doing, man?
Good man, how you doing?
Pretty good. Well, it's now been a few days. It's starting to set in. You're committed to UNLV. You've signed now. Take us through how it feels.
Man, it feels great, Finally got the whole recruiting process behind me and looking forward to the future.
Now, when we talk about this group, you've had a top eight, and over the past few weeks, people started thinking UNLV fits you, not just because of the relationships and all, but that truly fits you perfectly, the game style. People started thinking that, but when did you start realizing that UNLV was the school you wanted to go to?
Honestly, when they picked up Zaon. Now, UNLV has always been a great program, of course, but a point guard like that could really get you somewhere. So, I'm just he was weighing out all my options, my fam. It was just talking over things, but I feel like Zaon committing there really did push it over the edge.
Now, with Zaon, you guys didn't get to have the Vegas Elite season together, but when did that relationship form? Did that form during the recruiting process of getting you to go to Vegas Elite, or when did you guys first start talking?
I mean, I always used to play against Zaon, like kids growing up in California. He played for West Coast All Stars. Sometimes you'd see him. It's like he's always been good. And then later on, was about to play for Vegas Elite. Went to a couple practices. We was just talking about it. We talked about it. We laughed about it and all that stuff. Just my guy. Just looking forward to playing there. Keshon Gilbert's also another player that's he's going to be real good. He's real good. I don't know why he's not ranked in the top 50 right now if we're really talking, but it's just a number at the end of the day.
Bow down. I want to get into UNLV in a little bit more, but let's go into that top eight. It was about end of July, I believe you dropped your top eight. Featured schools like Syracuse, Kansas, UNLV was in there, Oklahoma, ASU, a few others were in the mix. What went into those top eight, and why did they make the top eight group for you?
I mean, I made the top eight because, the coaching and staff just did a great job of recruiting me. You know, I like the relationships that were built, I like the way they were selling their program, honestly. I mean, those are some great schools to go to. Uh, Coach Hurley did a great job of recruiting. The staff over at Oklahoma did a great job of recruiting. It was just, it was a very tough decision at the end of the day. But, UNLV was the place to go for me.
As you're narrowing it down for yourself, what were the schools in the mix for you between besides UNLV? Who's maybe your second or third option?
Um, ASU was very heavy for me. Me and my family would just have sit down conversations about UNLV and ASU, pros and cons. And we'd really discuss on like which place I'd really go. But so between those two, we're probably like those were my top two if I were ever gonna come up with the top two.
ASU, as you mentioned, kind of would have been the new hometown place, and they got a lot of vibe right now. Marcus Bagley, Jake Up, a lot of guys out there. How much of a push was Coach Hurley making towards you, and what would it have been like staying in your new home, Arizona, and playing out there?
Coach Hurley was making a big push. He said I was their number one priority. And I mean, I don't know if he says that to every kid, but he was really pushing that I was the number one priority. And that he would love to have me for the next year. And that hopefully I'd only be there for 1 year and then I'd be able to pack up my stuff and leave. But, he did a great job, him and his staff, him, Coach Berno, just always talking to me, texting me, calling me. It would have been fun to stay in Arizona. I mean, my family's already down here, come to all of my home games. It would have been a real homey feel.
And there also was another big appeal I can imagine. Your teammate Damari also commit there. How much was he trying to influence you or trying to recruit you to go to ASU?
I mean, there'd be little spurts of it, little conversation here or there, nothing too crazy, nothing trying to force it upon me or anything like that. It was just he'd bring it up in a conversation or two, and we leave it at that.
So who recruited you harder than Zayon or Damari?
Probably Zay. Definitely Zay.
Absolutely. Well, Coach O's out there, and he's building something special out there. I think 2020 they ranked outside the top 50, but there's a lot of big time guys. You also have a former teammate out there from last year, Jean Martinez. How excited are you to go out there and reunite with him?
Yeah, I can't wait to go meet my guy Jaylon again. I mean, Jaylon's a great player, and I look forward to playing with him.
Do you know anyone else in that 2020 recruiting class?
Uh, Nick Blake.
Mm-hmm.
No, Blake is nice. I went into a open gym with him one time actually, and he was just over there frying guys. I was like, I'll look forward to playing with that guy.
Now, those 2020 guys are going to be in there developing over the next course of the season for their freshman year. You and Zaon, Keshon, go out there for your freshman seasons. What will you guys be able to achieving in your freshman year out there?
I mean, hopefully, I'm trying to get to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Not hopefully, I know we could get to the tournament. I'm looking forward to playing all the top teams and who they call the best, and then we're really going to show them who really is the best. I mean, it's just competition at the end of the day, and I love it.
There's another big thing I like about this. This isn't necessarily a so-called Power 5 school, but there's 3 conferences I feel that are mid-majors that are not any of a drop-off between mid-major and high majors, and that includes Mountain West out there. You look at the school, San Diego State would have been a first seed this past year. You got UNLV, Nevada's a big-time program. Utah's been playing at a high level, New Mexico. List goes on. How excited are you to be a part of that conference?
I can't wait. I look forward to playing all of those teams, Just playing elite competition is what the game is really about, people that can better yourself. And so any opportunity I get, I'll take it.
I need to know a little bit more about Coach O because he's a great coach. We see what he did last year with guys that he didn't necessarily recruit, weren't necessarily his guys. But we look at the 2020 class. We look at you and Zaon committing to him. How special is Coach O?
Yeah, he's a great coach, great guy, great person to talk to, he knows a lot about basketball, just the way he has conversations about it. He tells me what I need to work on during the game or gives me goals for the next game or just looking into the future, And honestly, I've built a very comfortable relationship with him. I look forward to furthering it.
When did this relationship first start? Like, when did you first start talking to Coach O?
Uh, what? Last year, he called me on the phone. I remember we were at the team house, and I think it was right after our Sierra Canyon game, or maybe before. I'm not sure, but I was just chilling at the team house, and then I get a call, and then it's Coach TJ on the phone, or Coach O, as you say, and he's like, "Hi, Art, just saw the big game. We'd like to offer you a scholarship to UNLV." And then I said I appreciate it, and then we talked on the phone for a little bit, and it was just a great vibe. It was a great vibe from the coach from the beginning. Great vibe.
So would you guys say you guys kind of clicked at first point, or did it kind of take a couple of weeks or maybe a couple of months to really start clicking?
I mean, it took a couple of weeks, of course. I mean, it's hard just to start clicking like that. But, the first phone call was good, so it led into other ones. And, eventually, I'm here now, UNLV.
Now you guys have 3 big-time players, already a top recruiting class in the country. Are there any other guys you guys are looking to bring in?
I got to keep that a secret, Zach. Can't talk too much about it. But just know I'm working on something. We're working on some people.
Absolutely. Now, there is one guy I would like to touch up on, the hometown guy. He's maybe the most hot player in the entire country right now. Another guy that would have been a part of your Vegas elite team, Jalen Hardy. I know UNLV is kind of in the mix there. And if that's somewhere direction he decides to go, how special could you guys be?
We'd be real nice if Jay Hardy decided to go there. But hey, we'll see. We'll see what the cards have for him. I mean, I'm not involved in anything with him, really. That's my guy, of course. But hey, if he's trying to become a rebel, he'll become a rebel. It's meant to be.
No doubt. Let's get into your game. I mentioned earlier that you are a guy that I feel like you could plug into any system. You play at a high level. And last year, pretty much I knew that you were an elite defensive player, and you still are that. But you're adding an offensive point to your game now, where you're averaging over 30 a game now over the past few weeks. Take us through this new confidence in yourself and being able to score at this high level and this high clip.
I mean, it was just more than anything, it was my body. My body was really, last year, I was real lumbery, I was just a big bruiser, as I like to call it. And I really made it a point this summer to really slim up and try, get in shape and game shape and being able to go for longer periods of time. So after that, getting in the gym with Coach Kyle, obviously, working on all of my handles, all my ability to score, passing, different angles on the court, just really trying to bring it together. And it was just time for me to like put forth what I was practicing, you know. I see the game a lot more smoothly. Like I see different angles, you know. I see places where I could score from that, you know, I probably wasn't seeing last year, but I'm seeing this year. And I feel like this is just like this is just the beginning of it, you know. There's so much more I can still improve on and come towards. So I'm just happy, you know. Still working towards the end goal, which is NBA, of course.
And last year, there was a guy on your team that, in my opinion, was one of the best pure scorers in the entire country, in Marjan Beauchamp. He was there, but would you say were you capable of averaging these numbers last year? Or was it truly just all the stuff you did this past summer that allowed you to do what you're doing this year?
Um, Honestly, if I needed to, I feel like I shouldn't just be focused on scoring. Like the thing is that you gotta bring forth like what your team needs in the moment. So if scoring is what like I needed to do, then I would have done it. But obviously, as you said, we had one of the most talented scorers in the nation. So I was just doing other little things. I mean, helping the team win is more important than scoring. That's just an aspect to it.
That is the mentality I love about you because I've brought it up a few times now. You have that winning mentality. Wherever you go, your teams are winning, at least playing a high clip. Is this something you've always had? Have you always had that unselfish attitude where you just lay it all out for the team and you don't care about scoring? Is that kind of always the mentality you had, or did someone kind of influence you into that at some point?
I mean, it's kind of always been a mentality of mine, but you know, it was really brought out by my first high school coach. And he was like, you know, like if you guys want to win games, you got to give up something. And I'm always willing to give up something. You know, I'm always willing to give up a few points, you know, so I could grab a few rebounds or dive on a loose ball, take a charge here or there. Just win. Like at the end of the day, no matter how many points you have, it doesn't look good unless you win.
Mm-hmm. Now we look at the college game. Do you expect your scoring to be able to translate out there? Is that what Coach O wants from you, or what are you kind of expecting to do when you get to UNLV?
When I get to UNLV, I just expect to sit there, become a sponge, learn, and try to execute everything that they teach me, you know, and hopefully when I look up, I'll be at my end goal.
Talking to Coach O, is there a certain kind of position that he wants you running, or what does he expect from you and want from you in your freshman campaign?
Uh, he just wants me to be there and he wants me to hoop, you know. He's recruited me because of who I am, and I'm ready to keep showing him who I am even further on the basketball court. I mean, I could play any position he needs me to, and he knows that. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he uses me.
And this is where I want to get in a defensive aspect for you because you're a guy, like I said, about everyone's known that you can play at a high level. And one guy in the NBA playoffs this past year, Bam Adebayo, showed how valuable it is to be able to defend all five guys, which is what you can do. How have you been able to embrace that on the defensive end, knowing that you could pick up a point guard, a center, anyone in between?
I mean, defense has always been a key point to success in basketball. I mean, we all know that as a hooper, like, you know, if you want to get anything done, you have to get it done on the defensive end. And I feel like one of my high school coaches done a great job of teaching me angles and how to cut off defenders, Dion Phelps. And, you know, I just listen to everything he says and try to soak it up and try to make it translate to the game. And that's all I've been doing, really.
And we look at the grind session, which is where you're playing. One night you could go up against a point guard and a guy like Ty Washington. Next is a guy like Nathan Biddle, Kamari Lands. The list goes on about top players you're going up against. Even including last year, though, who are some of the hardest guys you've had to go, depending on different positions?
Man, Dacian Nix from last year, tough. Jalen Green, of course, Namari Burnett. That whole prolific team was nice. Uh, Posh Alexander, Dylan Wasu or something like that. They're both at St. John's right now. Super good. Now this year we had Ty Ty gave us a run for our money in one of our games. You know, Jordan Nesbitt played really well. I enjoyed playing against him. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, there's always top players that you just love playing against. You know, I love playing against them at least. But, you know, I just look forward to playing the next one.
And some of those guys you mentioned have that dog mentality. just that fierce mentality that you bring to the court. When you have a guy like going back and forth with you, how much respect do you gain for that guy, and what's it like going up against them?
I mean, it's always just a level of respect when you know you're going against someone who's like a dog, or just someone you know who could hoop like that or plays just like you. You know, there's always a level of respect. You know, you just want to always go out there and kill, no matter who's in front of you. So there's respect, but at the same time, I'm still gonna cook you.
And we talked about this a few times before, but your ranking now is starting to slowly creep up now. It's around the late 20s, early 30s. One might have late 30s. But you personally are continuing to move up. I think this next update will put you in the top 20 for all of them at least. Where do you see yourself, though, in 2021?
Wherever they put me. I mean, I really started worrying. I really stopped worrying about rankings. You know, at the end of the day, it's just a number on a sheet of paper on a website. So that, hey, wherever they put me, I'm fine with.
Has it ever put a certain kind of chip on your shoulder?
Yeah, at times it did. You know, I remember when I was like unranked and I was really hungry for it. And I mean, just keeping that hunger has really just kept me going. You know, even after I did get ranked, always wanted to be the best.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into your high school journey. Originally started out in Texas and you came to Arizona. But going back to Texas, what was it like playing out there your first couple of years?
Man, Texas was a different animal when I first moved out there. I mean, coming from California basketball, where it's a lot more finesse, and then translating over to Texas, where it's a real muscle game. Of course, there's still finesse down over there, but everything's just stronger and bigger, and it's tough. You know, it's definitely a transition, but you know, I feel like Texas really helped me grow. You know, mentally and physically, of course. So I'm always very thankful for it. Always very thankful for it.
You were in Texas some, you said California, you're in Arizona now. What state do you claim as being your home state?
Texas.
Mhm.
I definitely claim Texas. I mean, Texas is where I probably had the most growth, so I always claim Texas.
Absolutely. And there was some conversation earlier on in you guys' recruiting process. I know you're close to getting Manny Obaseki, Harrison Ingram, some of those guys. You guys are all in different ways, but was there ever talk with anyone out there of possibly teaming up at the college level?
Yeah, Manny was trying to get us to go to Texas A&M. Yeah, we had that conversation before. That would have been a very tough class too. What it would be me, Manny, Harrison, Wade Taylor,
Mhm.
and then Jackson.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that would have been crazy.
Now, Texas A&M, they were in the mix for your top eight. How close did that ever go to happening? How close were you ever to seriously considering A&M and having that become a likely destination point?
uh, it was a great me and my parents had great conversations with one of their head recruiters, Coach Lyle, and then I also had a good conversation with the head coach. You know, it just didn't work out at the end of the day. You know, I very thankful for them for recruiting me. I mean, that was one of my first offers that I ever got. So I was just happy to have them in my final eight, you know?
No doubt. So you make the move then, fall in sophomore year, come to Dream City as a junior. What went into that move? Was that a personal thing? Was that them recruiting you out there, a family decision? What kind of went into the move for you to go from Texas to Arizona?
Better competition. And they said that it was offered down here. I mean, I got to play in the grind session. I got to play against some of the top teams in America. So I was already happy with that. And then my family decided to move here and they liked the situation out here as well. So we're happy. Yeah.
Personally, I'm a pretty big fan of guys that play national schedule. Grind Session is a great platform, but if you're one of those schools that just play in the big tournaments or whatever, that's great too. But how critical do you think it is if you want to become a top player in the country, or you are one? How critical is it for you to play at a high school level, rather be national schedule, grind session? How critical is that for your development?
It's very critical. I mean, honestly, it's best to have played against like good competition. Playing against good competition so you can work your way into the college circuit and become much easier, of course. But honestly, it's just a transition.
Mhm.
You know, playing from like regular public school basketball and then just translating to the grind session is going to be tough for you. It's tough for anybody, really. But it's good. It's good. Always try to push yourself to play the best you could play.
Now, as we mentioned last, you guys had a loaded roster. Marjan was there. Jalen Anderson's a super underrated guy. Alex was out there for the second half of the year. Jalen, a lot of the pieces out there. But you guys did battle a lot of injuries throughout the course of the season. But overall, what would you say you grew from and learned from that year?
Just being a leader. You know, I just had last year didn't go as, you know, we all wanted it to go. And I just had this taste in my mouth, like, you know, I just didn't want that to happen again. I wanted this year to be different. And I figured since I was going to be the senior this year and I was going to be one of the returners, like, it was my responsibility to make sure that it doesn't. So I'm really just trying to, you know, our team this year is great. I mean, we have kids, Shaden Sharp, Jaden Clayton, Jaden Nunn, Tyler Simon, Damari Williams, who's hurt right now. I mean, we have all the right pieces to be great, and I'm just trying to get us there.
You personally, how did your mentality shift and your game style shift from last year to this year?
I mean, I feel like I'm more involved with the team this time, you know? I trust my teammates always, all the time, but this year is a different type of connection. You know, I feel there's not a lot of individuals. We're like one team, and I'm enjoying that right now.
There's a few guys that are blowing up right now on your team. Shane Sharp's one of the biggest one. He came out there, I think, 140 something. Now he's already put in the top 40. That's how big of a jump he's had. How special is he?
He is nice. Shaden Sharp is going to be that man. I'm telling you right now, mark my words, Shaden Sharp is going to be that man. Okay, he has everything that you need, you know, for that pro level right now as a junior. Mm-hmm. And then let's not forget about the 40-inch rate that he has, just jumping out the gym, dunking on anybody he wants to. I mean, he's going to be something special for sure.
A few other guys that have been kind of blowing up on your team, coming to the rise. You mentioned some of the names. Who else do you expect to be able to come out now and kind of move up the rankings, but just move up the personal opinion, get more and more attention by the end of the year?
Jaden Clayton for surely, our point guard. Also, Jaden Nunn. Mm-hmm. Jaden Nunn is gonna surprise a lot of people. You know, I see the way he's just a competitive. He's just a competitive person. I mean, he competes every single time he gets on the court, and not many people are like that. He's a dog. And then we had our guy from Senegal, Barina. Mm-hmm. Now he's gonna be something special as well. I mean, just 6'11" and fastest guy on our team. I've never seen anybody that big run that fast, like ever. I mean, he's special. I mean, we had a special team this year. I'm just looking forward to it.
Out of all the teams in the grind session, you guys haven't played everyone yet, but you've played against some teams. You got Compass in there. Powerhouse Press playing good once again. Prolific will probably start adding some pieces and all. Their top team once again. SLCA, there's a lot of scores in the mix right now. Who are you the most excited to play against when you match up against them? And how do you think this thing's going to pan out by the time you guys get to the tournament?
Compass. That's the only team I want to play against every single time I hop on the court. I just want to play against them every single time. I mean, they get us better. They make us better. I mean, we played two tough games, and they got us both times, and I'm really out there looking for revenge. I can't wait to play them again. In the championship, I hope it comes back to us too. Mm-hmm. I want to play them in the chip.
And when you look at the Compass game, as mentioned, you guys played in Border League. You guys go to overtime and lose that one. The next game, I think you guys lose by 6, something like that. But the point is, you guys are neck and neck, pretty much dead even against them. When you prepare for that game, what changes mentally as a team and you personally heading into a rivalry kind of game like that?
I mean, honestly, you just got to prepare for it like it's every other game. I mean, They are a special team, without a doubt, but everybody just has to be locked in. Like, I feel like that's a main thing, you know? You got to prepare for every team like it's a championship team, you know, no matter who you play against. So we're going to prepare for Compass, like we're going to prepare for Phoenix Prep or for Prolific Prep or any other team in the grind session, you know? It's just what we do when it comes game time, how we execute, how we play defense, what's our energy like.
And I mentioned earlier that you guys, if AU would have happened, you would have been playing with EYBL with Vegas Elite. Why'd you choose them?
Vegas Elite was just a great program. I mean, the success they had last year was good. I mean, of course, I was going to be able to play with Zaon, and that was a very big selling point. And we definitely would have won EYBL. I know what these other teams were thinking. They definitely would not have won. They would not have won Peach Jam. You got me, Zaon Collins. Oh my goodness, Jaden Hardy. Like, who is stopping us from winning Peach Jam? But they could say what they want to say. Okay, we'll let it happen. But we're the real winners of Peach Jam this year, without a doubt.
I think 3 months ago, before we saw a high school season start, maybe would have had a couple more questions about you guys, but Jaden Hardy's out there, maybe playing the highest level in the entire country. He's proven that he might just be the best player in the country. I mentioned earlier, now you're scoring 30 plus a game. You're playing as a guy that's, I think, a top 10 player in the country. Zaon's one of the best point guards in the entire country right now. Along with all those other pieces in the roster, how would you guys have been able to battle against some other teams, especially just you three?
I feel like we would have been perfectly fine. It's either we're winning by 10 or we're winning by 40. I'll leave it like that. We're winning by 10 or we're winning by 40 every single game. Too many scores, and then we also have defensive stoppers. I'm telling you, we would have been nice. We would have been very nice.
I forgot to mention Pop would have been there too, one of the best facilitators in the country. What would he have been? I know he's pretty young though, but what would Mike playing with him?
Pop-Up's a great player. I remember playing against him against Wasatch. And, just he's controlled when he plays and he understands the game. And that's all you could really ask for out of a player. And he's definitely one of the, or if not, the best point guard in 2022. Definitely one of them.
Couldn't agree more. Now, I know your family background is, take us through that.
My family background is from Uganda. And, it's just, I personally have never been there. But you could tell from like the culture that, it's just a real nice, it was a good place to be. I mean, my family also grew up around a good place. Uganda is a great place to be. It's a home feeling. It's a home environment.
Now, we have seen some guys in the NBA that if their family background's from there, there's a way to play for the national team. Is that something you've ever explored or eventually will explore, possibly playing for the Olympic team or the national team someday?
Yes, most definitely. I'd love to. Definitely love to. It's definitely an option, though. Yeah, no. I was thinking about that, actually. That wouldn't be a bad look. It wouldn't be a bad look at all.
I'm not sure if age-wise and timing would work out for this upcoming Olympics, but for the future ones, have you had any serious discussion with anyone about possibly playing in the future FIBA team or Olympic team?
No, but I definitely should get into those discussions. Definitely should.
Absolutely, man. Well, there's a few more things I want to wrap up with, and one of them is building your legacy, as I always like talking about. So when you are done playing basketball, both college, pro, everything, you step away someday, what do you ultimately want remembered for?
Just being a dog, just trying to be the hardest worker on the court every single time I step on the court. Just leaving an impact. And that's what my impact to be. I want my impact to be me being a dog.
I know you're also a believer. Take us through your faith and how God's helped get you to the point you're at today.
I mean, God has blessed me in several ways. I mean, I've been blessed with a great family, this amazing ability, my height, of course, my work ethic. I'm so thankful for God every single day. Every single time before I get on the court, I pray. It's just, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to play basketball. It's a blessing to have these things. It's a blessing to go to college for free. And I'm very thankful.
Growing up in a family background that is faith-based, Christianity, sometimes you kind of grow into it, kind of born into it. When for you would you say that it kind of separated and you started to form your own relationship with God?
Around 7 years old. Started having conversations with my dad about God. And as he's a pastor. So, we get into these really deep conversations, and, I'd ask these real dumb questions at the time, but it was my little 7-year-old self. So he would just sit there, answer me patiently, and I really just grew to understand like why I should believe in God and why He is our one and only Savior.
Amen, man. Now we see with some athletes, some guys recently, someone like Jonathan Isaac, we've seen Jeremy Lin, the Tim Tebows of the world. A lot of guys that get a higher platform can represent God at a higher stage. How do those people continue to spread God's light as you move to different levels?
I mean, just always being thankful to Him. You just gotta sometimes, like in an interview thing, don't forget to bring up family or it's just because that you wouldn't be where you are right now without either of those things. And so, I feel like, always saying like thank you, thanks to God, or thanks to my family, or just understanding that, God put you in this position to succeed. Just it really helps.
Absolutely, man. My final thing, give UNLV fans your 3 biggest goals you have set for your UNLV career.
Well, let's see. We're getting to the tournament. Okay. Definitely gonna get to the Sweet 16, and then if we get to the Sweet 16, best believe we're winning the whole thing. Those are my 3 goals right there.
Absolutely, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today. Congrats on the commitment once again, man. I can't wait to see what God's got next for you, man.
All right. Appreciate you, Zach.
Of course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.